Again, a big welcome this afternoon to the session looking at an introduction to the parish giving scheme. Many of you will know my colleague Hugo. Hugo, give us a wave, who is joining us this afternoon. Hugo's going to be keeping an eye on the chat facility during the session, and also will be talking to you briefly later on. But our special guest this afternoon is Steph Hartley, who is the relationship manager at PGS, at the parish giving scheme. She'll be one of the people who many of you will have been in contact with if you ever call their very helpful phone line or by email as well. So, Steph, thank you very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. And I'm going to start by handing over to you to lead this afternoon's session. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Andy. Thanks, Hugo. It's really nice to join you today. I've got a presentation which I will share with you, so bear with me when I just share my screen. Can someone just nod to say you can see it okay? Perfect. Thank you very much. So, as Andy and Hugo said, thank you and welcome. If I can get my slides to switch screen. So parish giving scheme, you've probably heard of it, hopefully. It was originally developed by Gloucester Diocese back in 2008, many moons ago. It was designed for a professional and effective donation management system to support parishes funding their mission and ministry. The PGS became a charity in its own right in November 2014, and that's when I first started. So I've been working for the parish giving scheme for 9 years now, and I absolutely love my job. And that's not just something I'm saying to trick you this afternoon. I really do love the job. It's just amazing because I get to see generosity in action every day. It's amazing. So the parish giving scheme is a trusted and secure solution. It's used at the moment by over 83,000 givers who give regularly to their church through PGS each month. Over 5,000 communities or parishes and churches are registered already with PGS and having part of their gifts and gift aid remitted to them each month. In November, which a couple of days ago on the 1st of November, we collected and we will remit over £6 million in gifts for regular giving to our churches, which is phenomenal. And if you have a look altogether, since we first began in 2014, we've remitted over £410 million to those parishes that are part of the parish giving scheme. So as you can see, that's generosity for you there. There's 100% of those gifts will go back to the parish. We've also claimed and remitted over £77 million in gift aid, which is phenomenal. So how does that look for Lincoln? So at the moment, and this is growing every day, you have currently over 1,109 givers that are already using the parish giving scheme. Over 150 parishes are already signed up and receiving remittance through the parish giving scheme. And in November, we have remitted back over £71,953.80 to those parishes within Lincoln, which is absolutely astounding. And since Lincoln joined, Hugo, that was a few moons ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose probably about 5 years ago now.
Yeah, we have remitted back to your parishes over £5.4 million in gifts and gift aid. You know, we hear some wonderful stories through the team and myself from parishes, the difference that regular money makes to them each month. And we're really proud to be able to support that. So it's simple to manage. There's reduced administration and paperwork for you. And we regularly claim the gift aid for you on your gifts each month. And each month you will have 2 payments into your bank account for your regular giving and gift aid. As part of that, you automatically are signed up as well to one-off giving. So if you have gifts that are made through the website, and we'll talk a little bit about those later, they will also be collected and remitted to you. So you have 4 payments into the parish bank account. It's easy and secure to access those monthly statements. Your parish will assign a statement receiver who will have a secure log-on where they can log on, view and download those monthly statements. There is a 12-month archive on there, so if you're on holiday or you forget to download your statements, you can go back and access those. It's stable and often increases the planned giving that you've got. We do have the inflation re-increase scheme, which we'll talk about shortly, but you know, parish giving scheme isn't affected by holidays or sickness. It's regular giving that you can use to plan ahead. And then I talked about the inflation re-increase, so protection against static giving. Your givers can, if they want to, opt into the inflation re-increase scheme, which is an annual increase, which is calculated now by CPI, and we download the latest CPI figure, so that changes each month in line with inflation. And how the scheme works is that your givers, 6 weeks before their anniversary of their first gift, so about just under a year from when their first gift was made, they will receive either a letter or an email to say thank you for their gifts to date. This is what they're currently giving, and this is what their planned increase is in line with inflation. If they're happy, they needn't do anything further. Their gift will increase. If they want to make any sense, usually if it's got pence after it, they will give us a call and just round that up. But we have got some really, really good figures, obviously with the cost of living at the moment and the world as it is. We have been keeping a very close eye on our statistics for the givers that opt into the inflation re-increase scheme, and I'm really pleased to say that Lincoln actually are above the national average for the opt-in for the inflation re-increase scheme. So that's really positive. And what we found over the last 18 months to 2 years is that nationally it's about 49–50% that opt in, and of those givers, at least 91% have continued to give in line with inflation, which is a really fantastic statistic. So there's 3 different methods for your givers to sign up to give regularly to your parish through the parish giving scheme. We have online, which is really simple and quick and secure. We have the telephone direct debit line, which is manned by a very small team in Gloucester. I really, really do reiterate that it is not a call centre, so we're not rushing callers through. We will take the time they need to understand what they're doing, explain the inflation re-increase scheme, explain gift aid, and usually we say it takes about 10 minutes to set up, but the girls are really, really efficient and it takes about 5 minutes. That's a really quick way. Or we do have the paper or the PDF version of the gift form if some of your givers do like to fill out forms, and they can send those back to us in the post. Really straightforward ways. And as I said, we do have the one-off giving option, which is an online web-based offering. So if you have any givers or parishioners that want to give to you a one-off gift, you can funnel them through to the website. We'll talk about QR codes and things in a little bit. But is there any questions so far? Am I talking too fast? Brilliant. Okay. So yeah, I did touch on inflation re-increase. So as I said, Lincoln are well above average for givers that choose to opt in to increase their gift in line with inflation each year. It is an opt-in scheme. It isn't, you have to opt in. You don't automatically do it. can opt out at any point if they wish to. They can join any point if they wish to. But we do always advise givers, if their gift is going to increase, at least 6 weeks before that increase is due to be applied. We would never increase a gift without the giver's permission. But as they tick to opt in, that's giving us permission to do so, unless they contact us and let us know. As I said, it is a benchmark. It's just to, help combat static giving, and givers are really encouraged to reflect on what best circumstances are for them at that particular point in time. For the last 18 months to 2 years, we have been sending out a supplementary email or letter with their communication, just to explain, we've listened, we hear about the cost of living, and just encouraging givers to reflect on what is best for their circumstances or their situation. And if they want to make a change, it's very easy to make that change. They can give us a call, drop us an email, or go onto their My PGS account on the website, and they can very quickly make those changes, or give the team a call, and they'll be able to quickly action those changes for them. Gift aid, regular giving and one-off giving, we would claim gift aid for you on your behalf. Some really interesting stats there that we have already, this says June, but in November we've processed, and it's almost up to £2 million in gift aid each month that we submit our claim to HMRC, and we receive the remittance for and pay that back to parishes that have got gift aid due. It's a phenomenal scheme, honestly. 91% of givers are continuing to opt in to gift aid, and it's great that we can support the parishes by submitting the claim and saving the administration burden for that. And usually the gifts and gift aid will be in the account the same month. We always are subject to HMRC's dates for their remittance, and usually we usually remit it back to the parishes within a few days of the gifts. The only month that we do experience a slight delay in that has been April, but obviously that's the end of the tax year, so that we are subject to HMRC, but usually it's within a couple of days of the gifts. So hopefully that's saving your treasurers some headaches with HMRC. So top tip.
Just interrupt a minute. I've had a question from Sarah about the percentage increase.
Of course, yeah.
Sarah was just asking in the chat, so what was the percentage increase last time?
I think we've just sent the communication out, so it would have been for December just processed. So the last one that we sent out for January, I think, went out on Friday. If you give me 2 seconds, I can just find out what I haven't been in the office for the last couple of days. I've been out on the road, but bear with me 2 seconds. I will find out.
There's live support from PGS. This is amazing.
Yeah. Hopefully one of them will come back to me. They're just in the other room. I won't be long. As soon as they've answered, I will let you know. Are there any other questions while I've stopped before I carry on?
Not in the chat, no.
No, perfect. Okay, so top tips that we can give you for launching PGS if you decide to register. So our website will use data from a church near you to create your landing page once you register. So one really, really key piece of information and that I can say is make sure that page is up to date. It's really easy to make those changes, and it's easier to do it before you register. Share the experience, get members of the PCC to give through PGS so they can see how easy it is to use the scheme, how easy it is to set up their gift. The statement will be easy to download. The team are really friendly to talk to. There's lots of benefits there for you. It saves on your time, your treasurers, your whoever looks after the money and coming in, or gift aid claims. It frees up their time so they have time to spend within the parish. Launch PGS with a giving review. It's a really good time to think about talking about money. 6.7%, sorry, it's just come through. Yeah, just to confirm, 6.7% was CPI for, that would have been, what month were we in? November, so that probably would have been the October one. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you. Can I just, another quick question?
Yeah.
Is there a minimum gift amount that you can gift, or is it
for regular giving or one-off?
regular giving?
Yeah, £1.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, just going back, sorry, launch PGS with a giving review. It's a really good opportunity to talk about money, to talk about giving. Yeah, if you just launch PGS, it's not going to solve all your issues, but it will help hopefully make your life a little bit easier. You know, we've got Christmas coming up in a few weeks, a great time to introduce PGS and hopefully ease some of that burden for you. We've got digital resources that are available for you as a statement receiver or as a parish. There's posters you make use of with QR codes, which we'll talk about in a few slides' time. There's lots of different resources there. And talk to Andy and Hugo. They have got lots of experience with using PGS and will be able to help you with your launch. So once you decide to register and you get your welcome pack from us, there is your landing page on the PGS website will go live. This is Ipswich, but it's just an example for you of what your landing page will look like. So this data here, so the parish name, the parish code, the address and email, and this paragraph here are what I was talking about when I said the information gets pulled through from a church near you. The picture is as well. And it's really important that your address is correct, because that will put your little pin on the map, so your givers can search by postcode or area if they just happen to stumble upon the page, or if they haven't got the parish code, which is available here, and that you'll get that once you register with the parish giving scheme. A little bit further down the page, you will see there's the link to your website, which is pulled from a church near you. There's a link to a church near you page, a telephone number, and also the QR code. So there's 3 different QR codes there that you can download. Very, very easy to do. Really easy. Andy and Hugo can help you with those, or you can always give the team a call and they'll be able to help you and talk you through that. Just going back to the landing page itself, if you've got people that are wanting to sign up online, when they go onto your landing page, they'll be given a choice of regular giving or one-off giving. Once they click on that tab, it will take them through the process. It is quite a quick process. I've done it myself, and it's a secure process too. So just touching back on resources, if any of you have got a smartphone on you, please make use of the QR code that's up there. That will take you through to the resources that are available. As you can see, the examples that we've got here of posters that you've got, where you can just download your QR code and that will take your givers to your landing page, and they can set up their regular gift or their one-off gift. These are just templates that are available, and of course you can make use of the resources that we've got there. Other resources that we do have are website banners. Animations are really good. There's 2 animations we have. one that talks about the parish giving scheme, which is really good if you're having a giving Sunday and you want to talk about the parish giving scheme to your parishioners. There's also one that talks about direct debits. We all know that direct debit can be quite scary for some people. It always comes back to the energy suppliers taking ridiculous amounts, but there are lots and lots of safeguards for direct debits, and hopefully that animation can give some security for you. And as a company or charity that uses the direct debits, we are audited. We've got governed by a board of trustees. We have to follow and we have checks and measures in place. We have to adhere to the BACS rulings and be governed by our bank. There's lots of governance in place there to protect givers with the direct debit guarantee, and that's the part that's detachable, and you've got all your all the unique selling points, I suppose you call them. So if something does go wrong, they're entitled to a immediate refund, which they can do through their bank. And as I said, going back to the inflation re-increase, we would never take a gift or amend a gift without explicit consent from the giver. The other resources we've got on there are social media content. We have newsletter articles, so templates that you could use. There's lots of different resources on there, so I'd really encourage you to have a look and see. And if there's something we haven't got, you'd like to give us some feedback, please do, and we can see what we can do to add those resources in the future. An example, parish. This is just an landing page on their website. All the information about PGS. It's got a QR code. It's got the number, a direct phone if you wish. Got the link in the parish if to paper gift form and animation. I just thought I'd, because it's a really what one of our already done. With me. So green, and we can answer questions and see what I can do to.
Thank you very much indeed for that. We have had a couple of questions in the chat already.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions that anyone wants to ask to Steph now? Please put your hand up or use the chat. Anything that you've heard, Sarah?
Hi, I've just got just one question. It seems very digitally orientated, which for the younger generation is a lot easier to use. How have other parishes found with the older generation being able to use online resources? So
we still will have some paper-based resources, and there are plans to make some of our resources available on Canva. Hugo and Andy, you might want to hop in about what resources that you've got that are paper-based. But we do have the telephone line as well, but we do have paper gift forms still, and the telephone line for me is one of my favorite ways to set up, because when I'm based in the office, I can hear those conversations that are happening. And as I said, we're not a call center, and the girls will talk the giver through that process, but you often hear recipes or gardening stories and things. So it's really lovely to hear, but also we take that time to spend with the giver and try and make that as and easy as possible for them when they do it. So yeah, I would say that I would really encourage the use of the telephone line for those givers that maybe aren't a little bit sure, that need a little bit more hand holding, that maybe your parish don't have the opportunity to do, but we can certainly help with that.
Hugo, do you want to come in there and say
yes, just
about
to add to that, we do provide hard copy gift forms along with other hard copy resources if parishes would like. and we can also send through email through a PDF gift form that can be printed off and filled in. So either or both of those options, as well as the phone line and the online.
Richard, you had your hand up just now. Was that?
We've been part of the PGS system for just over a year now, and I think it's gone reasonably well. It hasn't sunk any battleships or anything like that. But having said all that, we have, I think, about 23 subscribers, and the income is satisfactory, and the net amount of donations, I think, are quite generous given all the circumstances. What I seem to feel is that we have probably about half a dozen people who make donations by a standing order. And I sort of obliquely tried to encourage moving from paying by standing order to the PGS system. And I've never really got to the bottom of what the objections or difficulties or concerns are. Unless, of course, it's just down that standing orders are different to direct debits. Now, my understanding of the difference is really that direct debits is taken by agreement, by written agreement from the donor's bank account, and standing orders are the donor contacting their bank and saying, pay £20, £50 a month to PGS. Is there any market between the level of control which people have between standing orders and direct debits? Because that's the only reason I can think it causes a wee bit of a problem.
Yeah, so direct debit is a very highly regulated scheme. As I said, we have to fulfill criteria before we can even set up direct debits, and we have to adhere to that. So there's a lot more safeguards in place for a direct debit. For instance, if a gift is collected incorrectly or it's not cancelled, anything like that, the giver is entitled to a full and immediate refund. The bank would then go on to claim that back from us, within 28 days, I think it is. There's lots of safeguards there, whereas a standing order, you set up the payment. If it goes wrong, you can't then claim it back. It's like doing a faster payment, I think, through the bank. The safeguards aren't there, and it's a direct debit so standing order is fixed unless the giver changes it, where a direct debit can be variable, but it'll only be variable once we have permission from the giver to make that change. But it's very, as I said, it's very highly regulated. But I suppose direct debit gets a bad name because you hear horror stories about utility bills taking hundreds of thousands or thousands of pounds from bank account because they've got a direct debit. But as I said about the resources we've got, that we have that animation that does talk about direct debit. It's very short. I think it's about a minute long, which goes into a bit more detail about the safeguards there with a direct debit and how that would benefit the giver. Does that help, Richard?
Actually, you mentioned standing orders can go wrong, in inverted commas. What do you actually mean by that?
So if they're not cancelled or they'll just go on, but there's no safeguard in there or safeguards in place. If the money goes out, say the parish changes the bank account or something happens, then there's no safeguards in place there. The money is gone, and it's very difficult to then claim it back. Yes, they could lose their money.
Is it fair to comment that as an encouragement on a general basis that in fact direct debits are safer, more secure, and you've got a guarantee than doing your own standing orders?
Yeah, I'm personally, I think a direct debit is a more secure way of giving than a standing order because of those safeguards that you've got if something does go wrong. And I think everybody at some point will have a direct debit going out of their bank account, whether it's, or even, you know, having your pension paid in, you will have a direct debit of some sort. And as I said, that means that we have to be so highly regulated. We have to, we submit our accounts annually. We have all of these processes and checks and measures in place, so that is, we've got that level of security.
Okay, thank you very much.
But also, Richard, for you as a statement receiver, you will have less payments into the bank to reconcile. You'll have your gift remittance and your gift aid remittance, so it's hopefully will reduce your administrative burden.
Oh, I've got absolutely no problem with the paperwork and the timescales. I mean, it is payable by the first of the month, and it doesn't very often do. It's there, and you've got your capital sum, and the gift aid in which comes later, usually in the month. 9 times out of 10, it's within a fortnight, 3 weeks. There are odd occasions when it goes into the following month, but I've got no problems with the flow of the money because it's there, it's into the bank account for the church, which is, I think, perhaps the intention, and it's easier to manage. What your income and what it isn't, but I just can't seem to get hold of the difference, why people stick with standing order, even although I've dropped a number of sort of big hints. They just stick with it, and they're not, you know, awkward, difficult people. It's just they don't fancy direct debits, and I've done a little bit of research, and I can't find anything that's against direct debits because of the guarantee. Which, as you rightly said and confirmed, don't have a risk. The risk with direct debit is zero, and if something goes wrong, there's a guarantee. If it's standing order, well, you know, if it's going to happen,
I think people have long memories.
Thank you very much for clarifying that.
So I think people have long memories, and of course there was a time when the direct debit scheme was a new thing back in the day. Direct debits have been in place as a scheme for many years now, and I would probably guess that most of those people who have a concern about direct debits are probably already using them to pay for their broadband or their electricity or their water, all sorts of things. They're commonplace now, whereas some time ago they weren't. You know, they're much more tested and proven now.
Thank you.
Sorry. Any more questions from anyone else? Thank you, Richard.
So just to add to that, Andy. So the stats are that 9 out of 10 adults in the UK have at least one direct debit already, and effectively, if a giver chooses not to tick the inflationary increase option, then there is really no difference that they will see from a standing order to a direct debit. It works effectively, as far as they're concerned, exactly the same way. A fixed amount of money will come out of their bank account on the first of the month until they decide to either stop that or vary it. If they tick the inflationary increase box, then they will be contacted once a year before the anniversary of their gift, saying, you know, you kindly opted into inflationary increases. This will be, you know, it'll go up by X amount to, you know, however many pounds a month or a year or a quarter, whichever they opted for. If you don't want that to happen, get in touch. And it's really easy to get in touch by phone or email or letter. and PGS manages it in a very different way than typically, a utility company will manage it. They will only ever contact you once a year if you have ticked that box. They're not just going to write to you at any stage of the year saying we're going to vary or increase the amount that we take from your account. The same mechanism, PGS manage it in a very different way than most other users of direct debit will. I hope that helps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
confirm what I thought, but I just wondered, if you got any brilliant and flashy ideas that make the difference between saying no and yes. Anyway, thank you all very much for that.
Chris, you got your hand up. You're muted, Chris. Sorry, we can't hear you. Just want to unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Most charitable giving, I believe, is done by direct debit now. I think it was Alzheimer's Society or something like that.
Yeah.
It's very, very commonplace
It
for
is.
charitable giving to use.
You're absolutely right, Chris. And most of your givers from your church who are giving to Health Heroes, Alzheimer's, Dogs Trust, whatever, they'll be giving in with a direct debit.
Yeah, I just wondered that
Yeah.
might be an argument to use.
Yeah. Thanks. Any more questions from anybody else? Okay, otherwise I'm going to hand over to Hugo, who has some information he'd like to share, I believe.
If I can share.
Is it allowing you to share?
Sorry, can you see? Can you see that?
I can see your filing system at the moment.
Oh dear, right. It hasn't. Sorry, it hasn't worked. Stop doing that then. Sorry. What I was going to show you was a photograph of a pew card. In fact, possibly better would be for me just to hold one up live, so to speak. So that is a customized pew card that we can provide you with, and you can see that it's got a QR code in it. So any parish or church that is registered with PGS is welcome to sorry, my computer is playing up. Is welcome to contact me, and we'll happily provide free of charge up to 50 of those pew cards, or there is a similar leaflet which one would typically give out to prospective givers that also has a QR code in it. But really the thinking is that the pew card is probably something that is going to remain in the church, in the pews, that people who attend services, who particularly occasional offices or festival services, who may well not be carrying any cash on them, still want to give to the church, that they can use that mobile phone. Now, obviously, that assumes that you have a reasonable Wi-Fi or internet connection, which I know is not necessarily the case for all churches, but that is one particular resource that can quite quickly and easily get your church with a effective online giving option that you may not have on your website already, and something that's quick and easy for people in the pew to use to give if they haven't got any cash with them.
Thank you.
Other than that, if you would be interested in exploring further registering to join the parish giving scheme, you're very welcome to get in touch. I can send you the registration form, which is just 2 sides of A4 that with essential detail like who the contact would be, the name of your church, its bank account details, so we can send money into it, and just the necessary authorizations from church warden, treasurer, and incumbent. If you don't have 1 or 2 of those in place, there are other ways that we can do the authorization whilst still making sure that it follows the necessary procedure. But it is something that we say ought to have been agreed by the PCC as part of a resolution to join the parish giving scheme. So if you've got any questions about that process, do fire away.
Thank you, Hugo. Yes, and to those of you who are already members, do please spread the word. I can't see any other hands up or anything else in the chat, so I'm going to assume that no one has any other further questions. Steph, is there anything else you want to add before we conclude? You're muted, Steph, sorry. Still muted.
We'll get there eventually.
There we go.
Good time, lucky. No, I think that's everything. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much to everyone who's joined us this afternoon. You will be delighted to know this is just the latest in a series of short sessions on Zoom that we're doing on a number of different topics, which you can find through the website. So I will send you, I think I sent you the link with the booking information, didn't I? But I'll send it out to you again, along with a link to the recording when we have that on the website. So do please look out for other sessions we do in the future. Share them with anyone else you know who you think might benefit from them, and we look forward to seeing you. Chris, I can see you have your hand up again.
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware the meeting was ending quite so soon. I took advantage of the one-off giving, and I noticed there was a transaction charge, and it wasn't clear that this was going to happen.
Is that through parish giving scheme?
Yes.
Yeah, it does say on the website when you do the gift, underneath it does say there is a transaction charge of 1.5%, I believe, and that's just taken off the gift. But the parish will get 100% of the gift aid on the 100% of the gift.
Okay. Okay.
Is that just
I didn't
It's
notice that when I was using the service. So.
Yeah, that's just for one-off giving because it's not done through direct debit. It's because there's a card merchant, a card payment merchant. So there is a charge for that fee for processing it through a credit or a debit card system. Is that what you were going to ask, Sarah? Yeah, it's just for the one-off giving.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all right?
Thank you, Steph.
No problem.
Anything else anyone wants to ask? Okay, well, thank you all again very much indeed for joining us. Thank you, Hugo. With a very special thanks to Steph for joining us this afternoon. You're a constant source of support to us and to our parishes, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the time you spent with us this afternoon. So thank you all very much indeed, especially you, Steph.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.